All right, we are live. I'm so excited. That
Happy to
seems
be
to
here.
be, I know that, and I'm trying to get myself to stop saying I'm so excited, but damn it, I'm excited. So what am I gonna, what else am I gonna say, right? Welcome to the Innovative Expert podcast. We are live on Substack. If you are watching and you want to join, come and join, ask us questions. I am Dr. Stephanie Thrower. I'm a psychologist who works with, I have a private practice, but I also work with entrepreneurs on figuring out their stuff on a deep level and also like in a business level too, which is really amazing. I am joined here with someone who is going to, I just know, teach us so much in an area that I think a lot of people feel immediately overwhelmed, immediately incompetent, and also really sweaty. And I think Andy's going to have a story for us in a minute about how we really, really do sweat in this area. So today we have Andy Klepner. Since 2001, Andy has been building in digital marketing, starting as a website builder back when hand coding was the only option. Today, he focuses on funnel building, automation, and lead generation that drives measurable results. Andy's trained over 3,000 people in WordPress, marketing technology, and automation, and he speaks regularly at industry events. He holds a Scrum certification, which I'm like, I gotta search that, and a high-level affiliate SaaS award. And he specializes in helping clients simplify complex marketing technology so they can grow without the overwhelm. And outside of work, he's actually a human, right? Andy is dedicated to his family. He loves traveling, cooking, and collecting comic books. Welcome to our podcast. I'm so excited to have you today.
Stephanie, I'm so excited to be here. We're going to have a lot of fun today.
We are. And I mean, your work is pretty exciting.
My work is not only exciting, sometimes it can be very intense. So before this happened, I had a little bit of a situation, which, I'll tell you the little story about now, and it kind of leads into not being overwhelmed and making sure that you keep a cool and level head. Because when you're dealing with a lot of technology like I do every day, a lot of things can fail. Things can go down, websites can go down, automations can go down, and anything like that. And I had a situation where a client was hosting a website, not by me, and his website went down, and he started freaking out. And Stephanie got to witness it live. And I just kept myself calm. I put myself on mute, got him calm, got onto his server, and turned everything back on. And it just goes to show, I am. You've had Molly Mahoney on here last, and she is a prepared performer. Well, I think I need to coin the term the prepared geek or something like that, because I keep links and I keep information for every client and all the ways that they do their hosting and all their information, so that I can get into their account at a moment's notice and fix everything immediately, because everything that they have in their business is an asset. And a lot of people treat their web properties or their funnels and so forth like that, not as assets, not as something that is a piece of property, because it's digital, it's of the mind. They don't feel it, they don't touch it. And what we were able to do today was get it back online fairly quickly, because I treat everything like it's an actual physical thing. So you got to witness that.
Yeah. Calm, collected. Yeah. And a couple weeks ago, I had a psychologist on, and I was like, I am sorry, I'm bringing you on live. Like, this is not a chill thing to be, it's one thing to be like, oh, we're going to record a podcast. We'll take our time. We'll edit it afterwards. I'm like, no, this goes straight out to YouTube. I don't even touch it. Right. And so, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I know. I was literally in my conversation with Molly last week. I exited myself out live, and I was just like, of course, on this big conversation, I even goofed. But it's amazing how our emotions and our stress responses spike so fast with technology in a way that is, you must see it every single day. Just
yeah, I do. And Sometimes when you're dealing with people who aren't used to using technology in every facet of their life, it becomes an emergency. And sometimes that urgency is not an emergency. Uh, and what we have to do is we have to make sure that we get comfortable with it and use it like I said, just make sure that we're prepared and have everything in the right spot and try to make the client as well prepared so that we can get everything running correctly without losing our mind and say, okay, we've got it. Let's just take care of it. And then you turn back on, they're like, okay, thank you. And you can I'm literally getting texts from the client right now, like, this is awesome. Thank you. I owe you.
Literally. Yeah. No, yeah.
Literally.
I know. Yeah. Okay. So let's back it up. You've been doing this for a long time.
Long time. Yeah.
And it's so fascinating too, because literally like within the last 5 months, people who have access to developing things that have no idea about
Sure.
coding, nothing, like just
Exactly.
beeps and boops, right? And now we're like going in and talking to AI and building things. So I mean, what a journey where you've come from of hand coding this stuff
Right.
and now where you are today doing probably all the things, right?
Well, the funny thing is that when I entered into this business, around 2001, I was doing it as a hobby. And I was doing it as a hobby. I was working at a company in New York City, a company called RGA. And I don't know so I'm a geek, as you can tell by the toys. And I'm probably the biggest geek for Superman. And I was so excited because this company called RGA, what they did, I don't know if you've ever seen the original Christopher Reeve Superman movie,
Of
but
course.
there's a title sequence where it's like the swoosh and the titles come in. And that was the company that did it. Now they had turned over and became an early web company. And I got a chance to be a junior project manager on like IBM and all these different properties, Crate and Barrel, and all these different really, really cool properties, early web stuff that you would look at now and went, oh, this is a joke. And from that, though, they had nothing for me to do. I was getting coffee for everyone. So I literally taught myself on their dime how to code, waiting in between meetings. And from there, I was able to get my first client. I eventually quit that job and got my first real website that I got to build for, of course, my father's, the company my father worked for. And from that, I've been building ever since. And we've built probably close to 5,000 different properties online. It's 25 years working. So we built a lot of stuff where we've had our hands in working that. I work with my wife, so she project manages me. I'm the geek, she's the chic. So what we do, I'm able to handle that work and do this kind of innovating because I always have to stay ahead of the times. And now that we're in this hyper changing environment where literally things are changing daily. I look at AI as such an innovator. It's giving people the real ability to build something immediately, but the problem that they have is they don't think it totally through like I've had to. And because I had to do it with these, instead of just, speaking it into AI and really thinking about how it's built, I know how to put something together that is actually going to work, is actually going to function. So it's a little, the speed is great, but it also prevents people from really preparing before they start getting deep into it, and then they go down a rabbit hole.
Absolutely. Well, and I think that I one of my favorite quotes I learned from you, and I think I've even literally used it somewhere else, is like we learn with our hands, and
Yeah, exactly.
and I think that was a power. So I think it was on a call where you were giving some support. I don't even know if it was to me, but it was something about, all right, let's get in there. Let's start
Yeah,
moving things around. Let's really understand, like, let's stop talking through this idea that you have and let's learn with our hands how to fix this problem.
absolutely.
And it was just, I mean, I think this can be very much a heady process. The other thing I'm hearing in your story is you have been an entrepreneur for a long time,
Very long time.
right? Like that
Yeah.
is the bulk of
My
your
whole career.
career is
Yeah.
entrepreneurship. Yeah. Did you expect that?
I went to college, Towson University, and I got a job. I got just over broke. So I started out like many of us, and you know, I started. I always had that itch to do something for myself,
Mm.
and I got into the web, thankfully, at a very young age when it was also at a very young age. So it was nobody knew about it. Now I could go into any networking event. I could go to any business meeting, and I was the only one who knew it. Now, 25 years later, everybody knows about it, and everybody knows how to build things, and they're able to build things easier because of AI. But having the background that I have, it's just like I've just stuck with it. I woke up, it was 25 years later. I didn't even realize. I was like, I'll do this for a little bit and see how it goes. And then it's 25 years later. I've got a thriving business. I've built my whole family on it. I've got a kid in college. So, as you can imagine, uh, it's been a journey. It's
Well,
absolutely
and
been a journey.
yeah, and I think that I would imagine it's just, I think a lot of people who do some of the work that you do don't have that long entrepreneur experience, right? Like so much, I think in entrepreneurship, it feels like, okay, it's fast and you win and you're done. And like, you get it, you make your money, and what it means to the bulk of your career to be in this space where you are thinking so much about keeping your business alive too.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think that's a really powerful lens that you're coming from.
Well, it's great that I have this experience, but I don't want someone listening to this think to themselves, "Oh, he's been doing it 25 years. I can't compete with that." Because the fact of the matter is, anybody could start anything right now. And the experiences that you've had in past careers that you've done are leading you up to this. You're at such a golden opportunity. Anyone right now is at such a golden opportunity to get in there and actually build something without having to have the crazy experience that I have. What's good though is to follow people who do have that experience so that you can move along like what we do whenever we're in our calls together. Because when you're using technology like high level, like something that we use a lot, it's like a big kitchen. It's like a professional kitchen stocked with literally everything. The cupboards are stocked. We've got every tool imaginable. There's 40 different tools in there, and we have to make them all work together. Instead of being like, I just need to boil water and fry an egg, and starting off with something like that, and working through processes like that, and then using AI to make it work even better and easier.
I know. I like learning new software, and I would say that maybe a lot of people that I work with, or like in my peers of psychology people, like it's a little bit more scary. I find myself kind of excited, like, oh, it's a new toy to kind of figure out,
Mhm.
right? Like the version of me that's like, it's 8 years old, we're playing with paint, like moving little pixels around, right? And being
Right,
like,
right.
look, it's a face. So I think that, but I even realized for Go High Level, it was like 2, maybe 3 years where everyone was like, well, that's the best, but it's the learning curve's too much. And so
Right.
I didn't even go near it. I didn't even look at it. I just assumed like, I can't do this. And it's kind of that thing of the professional kitchen. It's like, oh, these knobs are so weird. I don't even like, they're so
Yeah, it's
fancy.
very intimidating. It's like, how do I use this stove? Is it from Europe? It looks like it's from Europe.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, it's very elegant. Like, can I do like the little beeps?
It's
Yeah.
funny. I went to Scotland. Just a little side note. I went to Scotland talking about kitchens. I went to Scotland with my family. I'd never been there before, and they had this amazing oven that was always on. I couldn't sleep the night because this thing was always on, and you lifted up this hand. I forget what it's called, and put your pan on there and boil water or do whatever cooking that you need to, and then you just lower it. But it was always on. It was always ready, and I use that analogy a lot with this because it's always on and it's always running, and you just have to make sure that you're like, okay, just make sure that you're prepared enough on it so that it doesn't overheat, which is what some of these like automations that we build nowadays can be. If we don't turn things on and off correctly, it can be a real catastrophe unless you build it the right way.
Totally. And I think that so in the space of Go High Level, yeah, what I have found is actually it's awesome, right?
Mhm.
And I can avoid it if I feel intimidated, right? It's like such this balance of actually when I go in to build it and I take it step by step, and especially if I can talk to someone who's not ChatGPT about walking me through exactly everything, right? Like, because ChatGPT is like, try this, and you're like, I did. And there's like, but really try this, and you're like, no, actually, I did, right?
Right. And sometimes, and the thing is Claude is great and ChatGPT is great, and it will give you the directions. But I had recently in one of the calls you were on, someone who built out the most elegant and beautiful workflow. That was so. I'm trying to get my hands in the center, so making sure I'm on camera here. It was so long with so many different steps, and I showed them. I was like, "Well, this is really good, but had you come in here and we had just done it, we could have done it in 3 steps." And we walked through how to do that. He's like, and they're like, "Oh, I wasted all this time," and they got so frustrated. And I said to them, "But you learned how to use the tool really well, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and like you're probably going to be really good the next time you do it, right? Because that's the whole thing. Do you know the first website that I ever built took me 7 months? Now I had to hard code it, right? And I had to learn how to use a database. I had to freaking learn how to do the whole damn thing. But that translates into everything I do today. And now with AI, I can build a decent website 45 minutes to an hour. So, but because of those years of work, and we were talking about that before, those years of working, those 25 years, I know what looks good. I know what works. And my wife yells at me, she's like, "Don't discount the 25 years just because you can get it done in 45 minutes now." So,
Yeah, I
so
mean,
what I
yeah.
mean by that is anything that took you so long, even though it didn't work right, you probably still learned something from it.
Well, that's such an interesting part of what you offer people too, because you do a lot for people in business. You bring an education to the work that you do, right? Like you're not just because an interesting thing theme that has come up in technology is when people are feeling nervous about or feeling underskilled in technology, they have been taken advantage of by people who are like
Mhm.
talking like car repairmen, right? Like being like,
Absolutely.
oh, well, your website's gonna break. It's gonna explode, right? If you don't do
Yeah,
these
absolutely.
things. And that doesn't seem to be your vibe when you're working with people.
Well, I appreciate that. I met my wife as a real estate agent. I was a real estate agent before I was in this world. I was in my early 20s and we met, and the web was coming up, so I went into that. I pivoted, but I look at websites as actual property, as actual real estate, and I don't think a lot of people do, and they don't think of it like an asset. So if you're in a piece of property and the toilet's overflowing, or your basement has too much water in it or something, that you freak out, and it might be a simple fix. And if you can get people learning how to do those simple bits of maintenance, like the client that I was just dealing with before this, had he clicked the backup button in his hosting, just takes a minute, everything would have been fine. So if you look at what you're building as a piece of real estate, as a property, then everything kind of centers around that. Something that happens a lot is that people get taken advantage of, and it's something that morally just gets on my nerves, because and you've seen it happen inside of the calls we've been in, where people don't even know if they own their own domain name, and then when they move hosting providers, or they move with where they have their property, their website, they didn't realize they were just renting it and they can't get their domain back, and then they have to deal with a whole thing. So I always say to people, think of this as a real thing. And until they do that, that's when it becomes a lot easier to work with.
Yeah, I think it's such a good metaphor for people to, or it's not even really a metaphor, but it's like a mindset shift of this asset. Sometimes because it's not right in your face, right?
Mhm.
It's not this tangible thing you can touch your website, right? I guess you could
Exactly.
print it out, but it's still not the same.
People
But
used to do that. They used to fax me. This is how old I am. They used to fax me their changes.
yeah.
They would print it out, circle things, and fax it to me until I threw out my fax machine in 2004, I think.
We in the therapist world still facts, and apparently the medical people still think it's the most, like thinking of security. Yes, having paper on the floor in someone's fax room is not actually the most secure way of transmitting information. But we like to slow things down in this space, right?
So, what the type of people that you're seeing, like I'm actually very curious about, what you do
Yeah.
and how you see your clients and the people you're working with in therapy and what they think of online properties, and if they get so freaked out that it's got to cause them quite a bit of stress.
Absolutely. Yeah. So a lot of in the coaching space, I work mostly with therapists who are looking to diversify their income, their tasks, right? So
Mhm.
they have a successful therapy business, they want to level up in some kind of way in entrepreneurship. Typically, they want to create a course, they want to have some kind of offer. And so and the tech stuff gets overwhelming, also offers a lot of opportunity, right? So
Mhm.
it's kind of that weird mix of being like, oh, this is a business I couldn't have offered really before, and now I can broaden my reach. I can take my expertise and bring it into the broader space outside of therapy. And so yeah, the technical piece is really cool, but for a lot of people who have worked for decades with
Mhm.
like therapy or honed in that expertise, it's typically when I'm a vocational psychologist, which is just like a really nerdy, this is my geek space.
Right,
um,
right.
Thinking about how people, I don't know what your like vocational personality is like, right? and
Right, right.
so and so, yeah, we tend to see people in these helping professional clusters to not be the most comfortable typically with sales and technology, right? And so it's a space that's available now. And I think people are like, no, I actually don't want to be a burnt out therapist my whole life,
Mhm.
right? I want to actually keep doing therapy, but I want these other ways to earn, right?
Would you say the majority of the people who would be listening to this right now, do you think that and there's a reason I'm going here.
Mhm.
Um,
I love it.
would you would you say that the people who are listening to this are also therapists that listening to this podcast? A good portion.
The most I would say, yeah, I think, yeah, I am broadening towards expert entrepreneurs, but yes, I think most people are therapists. Yeah,
All right. So the one of the benefits of building 3,000 plus web properties is I've worked with therapists
of course.
before, and I had about 5 years back this, and this is a really good analogy. That's the reason I kind of wanted to talk about this because it came into my mind as we were talking back and forth. So a lot of people get intimidated by technology because it seems so foreign to what they already do. And because it's so foreign to what they already do, they get super intimidated. So we had this one therapist that we were working with, and he innovated his business with a single landing page and a simple automation. And what he did is he would do his therapy during COVID because nobody could talk to anybody and nobody could see each other in person. Use this technology called Voxer. I don't know if you've ever heard of Voxer. It's a
Hmm.
walkie-talkie app for anyone who doesn't know. And with Voxer, what he was doing is he was working with his clients back and forth with Voxer. He completely changed his business, quadrupled his business by having a single landing page which signed people up to pay for his service, and then just giving his advice through Voxer, and him basically they would say what they're dealing with and he would Vox right back to them. He got so busy he had to hire 4 more therapists to work with him in order to make this business grow. So I mean, but this wasn't a giant thing, and he was just doing the thing he was already doing, but taking one piece of it and turning it into a technology component.
Well, and I think you're absolutely right. I think that people are sold very well
Mhm.
from Silicon Valley, from the tech world, right? Like we are sold that like we are going to buy this incredible vehicle,
Oh yeah.
and it is going it like
It's gonna cost you a fortune.
and everyone's going to love us, and you know what I mean, and all of a sudden our status will change or whatever it is. And But then we have this pressure to be like, I have to figure everything out. I have to use
Exactly.
every component of this CRM to actually be successful. And I think you're absolutely right. The simpler is the better route.
Simpler is the better way to go, because when you really think about it, people are like, I've got to build this whole thing, and they'll read a book, and they'll be like, oh, I got to build this part out, this part out, this part out. Oh, no, no, no. You build just a little bit. And then when you've gotten really good at that, you've got that nailed, you build the next part. And then you build it and you compound and you build on it. But if you try to build out your whole system right off the bat, you're destined to fail, because you're going to actually feel like, I can't get through all this. What's the old adage? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. It's the same. It's literally the same thing whenever you're doing any kind of online property, any kind of automation, any kind of learning, especially when it comes to technology. That's why, just to go back to the earlier part of our conversation, I learn, as many of us do, through our fingers. And building it that time, and even making the mistakes of building a giant automation when you only needed 3 steps, means you learn something. You're going to be able to take that, and the next thing you build is going to be amazing.
Well, yeah. What I'm really reflecting on, the thing I'm learning right now, or I'm like clocking in the back of my head, is as someone who has been building and testing new things in the effort to diversify and figure out what it is going to work for me too. I have so much abandoned property. Like
Oh my God. How many GoDaddy accounts have so many domains not being used?
yeah, I have built this on base 44 and this, and I like this week I'm building a new freebie, and I'm just like, what is this number, like 15? It's
Oh,
just,
if you saw my unbuilt graveyard, it would and the domains that I was definitely going to build out and turn into something. But again, all those properties that I didn't finish fed what I'm doing now.
yeah, I think that this is, yeah, I wonder for you if you also agree in the space of figuring out what you're meant to do in your as an entrepreneur. It's a journey. It is testing and figuring out like, okay, it's going to be this domain. It's totally going to be this domain, and then letting that sit and letting that settle and being like, okay, actually, let's follow, let's
Well,
go a different direction. Yeah,
every one of my failures has compounded to my success. And I stand on all those failures as a firm bedrock to everything that I'm now achieving. And that's how I look at it. I've been doing therapy. It's a very healthy thing. It's probably one of the things that's helped me the most to get to a point where I'm like, there are contemporaries of mine, colleagues of mine, who are much further along than I have, especially for someone who's been in it for so long. But I've also had a hell of a good time, gotten to build some amazing things, built my family, also lived this great life, and worked from home for 25 years. So, it ain't bad.
no, and yeah, I mean, your quote is that one's gonna shine, right? Standing on the failures, that moves towards.
Standing firm on the failures that to my success.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
that's a
is
writer downer.
I know it'll be. I do a reflective post. It will be bold in there. What is it like doing this with your wife?
Uh, you know, um, I get even a little emotional about
Yeah.
it, because I met my wife at 23, and we were real estate agents together. I was doing real estate for a long time, and I had number one sales in the office. And then this beautiful girl comes in. I had no shot, no shot. If you think I look schlubby now, you can't imagine what I looked like at 23. And we became the best of friends. And because we became the best of friends, we started working together right from there. And then I said to myself, I've got to, like, this is the person I want to be with.
Yeah.
But we had already been working in a professional capacity together. But my sales plummeted because I was too busy, wooing this girl who would eventually become my wife, the mother of my children.
Yeah, you were
But
just Jim Halpering it all the way up, right?
all day long. The Office was like a documentary for me. Are you kidding me? Anyway, so that is a great quote, by the way. I'm going to use that. But the funny thing is that working with my wife has made it, I hate to use the word easier because it's not that it's easier. It's just like she gets it. She knows what I'm doing. She knows what I'm working on. We are most comfortable talking about what we are building together because we're also building the future of our family. We've got to travel all across the world. I just got back from Vietnam and we got to turn it into a vacation. We got to do business and a vacation at the same time. That's a pretty big deal. You can't, and I got to speak. She got to do all these amazing things. I got to do it with her, and we get to build our business together and build our future together and take care of our kids together and do everything. So I love working and being with my wife at all times.
Yeah, it's just this again, this journey of, I think a lot of entrepreneurs, their partners have no idea, right? It's like
Oh yeah,
hard to find that common link with that shared, I feel like sometimes with my husband, I'm like, okay, here's the recap of the last episode, right?
right. But she really runs cover for me. She knows what I'm working on, and she
Yeah,
knows she has a hand in a lot of it. So
yeah,
she's like, he needs to be left alone right now because he's got to build something.
yeah.
She protects me, and she gets that instead of being like, no, honey, do this, honey, do that. It's more like, okay, I'll get to him with that later on
Yeah.
because she knows like I'm in my hole working on something, so she understands
Yeah.
that.
You're in
Yeah,
the building zone.
my hole with all my comic books and like Voltron figures and looks like a kid's room.
You gotta have friends, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
These are my colleagues.
Yeah, these are my business partners.
Yeah, I've just got daddy long legs. That's all. Just a row of them. Yeah, this has been so awesome to have this
Thank you.
conversation. I'm probably could just keep diving into the weeds, but we keep coming up to deeper concepts of what it's like to be an entrepreneur, how it is to approach technology without I don't know, without losing sight of what the goal is, right, in
Exactly.
our business. And that seems like that is, so the focus is technology second. What is the goal? What is the
Exactly.
goal? What is the focus of your business? And how do you tend to work with people to figure that out? Because sometimes people don't have answers for that.
Well, it goes back to the question that you asked about earlier. A lot of times they get sold something that is not what they need. And their goal should be is how's this going to make my business run more efficiently? And how's it going to work better? That's what the goal should be. So oftentimes they are sold this amazing package, and when they actually get the package they have no clue how to use it, and it sits and it never gets used, as opposed to being like, well, what are we looking for? Oh, I need more sales. All right, let's build that first. Oh, I need to set my appointments easier. Let's build that. Let's make it so that you don't have to do emails back and forth trying to figure out a best time to make an appointment. And sometimes those little levers make the big thing, as opposed to buying this giant package where they spend $10,000 right off the bat and they are not using it at all because they're completely intimidated by it.
Absolutely. And then it gets packaged of this like, oh, but my business is going to make so much money next year, right? And so
Yeah,
I can spend right now. And then they get so resentful that they bought the thing, right? They don't want to even go in that kitchen that's so
yeah,
fancy.
yeah. It's like don't sacrifice the dimes for the dollars. Saving those little dimes and saving that little bit of time, those little bit of hours where you can automate something and make something simpler and easier will lead up to those dollars where you'll have this amazing business. I started building 5-page hard-coded websites. Now I build systems for municipalities and dental clients. But I didn't start there. Little bits and pieces led me to where I am.
Yeah. This was amazing. Thank you for
Thank you.
coming on. And where can people find you?
Brighteridea.com. Just go to brighteridea.com. You'll learn all about what we do.
And they can work with you in a variety of ways.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We do everything from simple automations and funnels to working on AI systems and high level and funnels and workflows and all that.
And you have a lot of really helpful tutorials online too. I think that that gives
Yes.
people a sense of your vibe, your teaching. I mean, this gives you a great sense of your vibe, but also like what it's like to how you teach and what some of the things that you teach about. So I think that's
Yeah,
people
and
should
when
check
you
it
go
out.
to go to brighteridea.com, the link to the YouTube channel is right there. And when you go to the YouTube channel, you'll notice the way I teach is we want to make it, we're not dumbing it down, but we're using common language
Yeah.
because it is not as scary as you think it is. And if you take your time with it, so I build my videos, I build my tutorials in a very particular fashion. I want you to be able to put the video to the right hand side and what you're working on here and being able to start and stop the video and do a little bit, start the video again, do a little bit more, start the video again, and so forth. And a lot of people they get these videos that are very technical and very intimidating. I try to break it down into simple steps.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I've spent hours on I've like watched like make an NA whatever it is tutorials, and I've been and you really think you know something, and then you go in and you try to build one thing, and you're like, oh no, this took me an
Yeah,
hour.
you're right. And build the simplest thing first and then graduate from there.
Yeah.
This is what you should do.
Thank you so much for being on. I'd love to talk to you in the future, and I hope you have a good
Absolutely.
weekend.
All right. It was wonderful speaking with you. Enjoy the rest of your summer.
I will. All right. Take good care. Bye, Andy.
Bye now.